Today, and the Angels were very late with their lineup today because they've got some banged up players, and Joe Maddon struggled to find 9. Anthony Rendon is on the injured list. Justin Upton is not in the starting lineup, but Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, and Albert Pujols are in there. This could be Pujols' last trip to Kauffman Stadium as a player. And then Anthony Bemboon was called up before the game last night, and he'll be in the starting lineup as the Angels catcher. Well, we always say first things first when you're trying to set goals for yourself, and first things first for Brad Keller-Hud might be just to get through the first inning today.
I totally agree with you, partner, because look, he struggled his first 2, and he's not the first guy to ever struggle coming out of the gate. Let me just make that clear. This is not an easy game. This young man, he's still young, 25 years old, and he wants to work down in the zone, and sometimes it don't work out. Down, 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 quality strikes, and that's a good start. Strike 1.
David Fletcher was the runner cut down at third to end the game last night. And both his manager and even Mike Matheny put the emphasis on the play that Salvi and Hunter Dozier made, that Fletcher was doing the right thing with 2 strikes, anticipating a ball in the dirt. He was not anticipating the ball hitting his teammate at the plate and giving Salvi a chance to throw him out.
Fletcher, he's a solid big league player. Angels extended him and recognized that and gave him a nice little long-term deal. Contact hitter, no doubt, puts the ball in play, and really an ideal leadoff hitter, except he's not going to take a lot of walks and he's not going to steal you a lot of bases, but he's going to get on base with his hits.
He's a Southern California kid who grew up admiring David Eckstein, and I think that's Eckstein's number, isn't it? 22?
Sure is.
He was fun to watch.
He was amazing. The scouts would call him just enough. And what they meant was, he didn't have a great arm. Oh, look at this right here. Tester early. Put it in your pocket. It's okay. That's what Keller wants to do. He's gonna make some ground ball contact. There's nothing you can do about that. Just enough. Had just enough to get the guy out at first base. How about it? Okay, Jorge Soler, he's back out there, not forward around the horn defense. Soler getting his second start out there. Dozier back there at third base. Hey, we're counting on Hunter to get his game in motion. Cam Gallagher, how about him? He's getting a start today and giving Salvi some chill time on the pine.
This is Cam's second game and first start. So a man on for Shohei Ohtani. He is 6 out of 10 in the series with 4 RBIs, and he has a big rip and fouls it back. So over lunch today at the ballpark, our little gathering up in the dining room, we were marveling over Shohei Ohtani. And the question came up from a member of our crew: why don't people pitch him inside more often? He gets those big long arms extended. And a fastball by him at 0-2. And now I want you to step out of your era when you played in that hard-nosed pitch inside, nose in the dirt type of play. But you think pitchers would be hesitant to pitch him inside because that arm, even though it's well guarded there, I mean, he's becoming one of the stars in the game. Ooh, there you go. That's what we're talking about right there. And you got Ohtani to swing at it.
Just missed Trout on deck. No, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but there's a good four-seamer, good example there. But you see that path he just took? He'll shoot that ball to left field. That's how great a hitter he is. He's inside out. Now knocking him down, you got to get in there a little bit more to do that.
My point is, sometimes a pitcher will pitch inside, and they don't. Sometimes they're trying to hit the guy. Most of the times they're not. But if you clip a guy on the forearm, hey, that's just the way the game goes. Well, that's not just any forearm right there.
You're right. It would be tough to see that happen. But he's obviously Keller. He's in there, but man, Ohtani has showed off his skills every way around the diamond here in the first 2 games of this series. What a phenomenal player.
And right there, Keller at least accomplished getting him to move his feet by Throwing that slider down and in.
That's huge. Guys are comfortable up there swinging. Okay, you want to see some skills here. Watch this. Now, he's upper fastball here. He just turned on it. I mean, raked it. That ball took 3 seconds to get to the wall. And then you want some speed out of the left side of the box. You know, that moved the infielder, Dozier, moved him 4 or 5 steps, and that gave him some time. And then you want to see some power? There you go. We've seen it all. Except for his 100-mile-an-hour fastball he throws. That's the only thing we haven't seen, which is another big part of his game that makes him a phenom. But he's battling Keller. I like how Keller's attacking. He is making him swing the bat. Down 1 and 2. Now Trout better be careful on the on-deck circle. There's been a couple that Ohtani shot his way. Don't want him to get hurt either. Yes.
All those pitches inside, and then Keller gets him with a fastball up and away.
Keller, if he continues to attack like that and go at these guys with some good quality pitches, he's going to get back on beam. Yeah, he was fooled on a fastball.
That's the first time a Royals pitcher has struck out Ohtani in this series, which gets us to Mike Trout, who struck out 4 times last night. Jammed him. And it's a long run in for Taylor, and for a moment there it looked like he was going to give way to Witt, but realized it was his play, and there are 2 outs.
Communication play, no question about it. Second baseman goes out all the way, never says a word. Okay, it's his, he's thinking it's his. The outfielder has priority, so he's going to call him off at the last minute there, but avoid a collision. See Witt keeping his mouth quiet? He's not saying anything. That's how you don't get confused with both guys calling it.
So Fletcher's at first with 2 down for Jared Walsh. He was at the plate when the game ended last night with Fletcher at third. None of us were anticipating that the game would end the way that it did, but I still felt better about the game being decided with Walsh at the plate instead of Pujols, who walked right before that crazy play.
I liked your point. And I liked how he pitched him right at him.
And Soler falls forward to make the catch. So he's in the game, and Brad Keller has his first scoreless first inning. Salvador Perez is the DH, and Cam Gallagher is in there for his first start of the year. And the Royals only averaging about 2.5 runs per game over their last 6, but they are 3-3 during that stretch, and they're facing right-hander Griffin Canning, who has made 1 start, and that was against the Blue Jays, and he gave up 2 home runs and 4 runs.
And that's been a while ago, so let's let the Royals want to get him early, make him feel uncomfortable. We'll show you his pitches. Okay, slider, fastball. Okay, the fastball is the one that he gets hit and beat up enough about. Now the big curveball, he's got a spike curve that he gets his strikeouts on, but he's going to try to get ahead of you with the heater. Don't miss it.
Canning is from Southern California. He's 24 years old and was a 2nd-round pick of the Angels out of UCLA. Witt hits on the first pitch. That's to the gap. A long run for John Jay, and the former center fielder runs it down. So that's 2 nights in a row that Witt swung at the first pitch and lined out.
Love how he jumped on it. John Jay just made the play. He's out there because of injury to Upton. Jared Walsh is a first baseman playing right. I tell you, they're all discombobulated. Jose Rojas, third baseman there. He's filling in for Anthony Rendon, who's hurt. And look at the Anthony Bim Boom, longtime minor leaguer, making his start for the Angels today. Getaway day. Giving the veteran Suzuki a little time.
Benintendi goes after the first pitch, and that's into right field. Walsh is there, and Benintendi is on with a 1-out single, so he's hit safely in 8 of the 10 games.
Nice to see him pull the ball.
We know he's got a good inside-out swing, but it's really nice to see him hitting off that front foot a little bit. Good balance. Couldn't pull it enough to get a double, but Royals being aggressive early.
Well, let's see what Salvador Perez does. He likes to swing at the first pitch. And that is an unhittable pitch, so ball one down and away to Salvi. When this series began, Salvi's batting average was 185, but he's gone 6 for 8, and now he's up to 314. I think it makes sense that the Royals are being aggressive early in the count. And we were showing you Canning's line from his start against the Blue Jays. He had 7 strikeouts, and all 7 were on his breaking ball. I think they're trying to avoid getting into a count where they have to swing at that pitch.
Right. Smart. Spike curve.
He's buried 2 to Salvi, and it's 2-0.
Like Bim Boom, his style back there, how he cleared his glove, everything, and just put his chest out to use that to block the ball. Watch his style here. He's not trying to catch it. He just wanted to get right in front of it there. Good job of squaring that one up.
It's a great name for a hitter, Bim Boom.
He sure is.
But he's known more for his defense than what he does standing at the plate. Benintendi runs, and the throw is in on a hop and now into center field. And Benintendi will be at third with 1 out.
Picked a good one to go on. I tell you, nice jump. Good, really good takeaway. Quick, too quick for Bim Boom. And going head first like that sometimes can be hard to pick up the throw if it gets by the fielder. But Benintendi had no problem. He saw it just in the nick of time to where he could advance to third. So Joe Madden going to bring his infielders in. 3 on the left side, 1 lone Albert Pujols on the right. Salvi wants to knock him in. Look, elevation, get something in the air and deep.
2-2.
Now let's see if Salvador can go to his 2-strike approach, and that means just kind of be aggressive anywhere close and shorten up your swing.
Called third strike. Salvi argues with DJ Rayburn. It appeared to be out of the box, but it was close.
Yeah, a little too close to take. Salvi, normally he's going to swing at that, so he must have saw it out in the very beginning. But that's a nice pitch for Canning.
So that makes all 8 of his strikeouts with his breaking ball. And now Carlos Santana. Carlos drove in a couple of runs early in the game last night, both of which came without a hit. He had a sac fly in the first and an RBI ground out in the third. A little bit inside at 95.
That's about where he'll top out. Gets better movement in the lower 90s.
2-1. That is a hard, late breaking curveball.
It's got some bite to it, and they say that that's all directly correlated with the spin rate.
Two and two. The Royals have faced him before. It was a couple of years ago in Anaheim and very early in his career, but the Royals saw what he is capable of doing. He went 7 scoreless innings and struck out 5 for just his second big league victory and his first major league quality start.
Okay, another thing to look at, same thing they defended last night, is the third baseman is playing a pull, left-handed pull shortstop. There's nobody near third. So really, Benintendi, he could come all the way down and shake hands with the catcher, and they couldn't get him out.
Especially if the catcher chose to shake hands with him rather than tag him out.
I'm just saying, you know, it would be really hard to not just, there you go. Okay, really? Okay, you're not that fast. Come on, you can't get it. But see?
And Mom has some orange slices for the whole team after the game.
Yeah, and speaking of Mom, walking into the ballpark today with Fizz, look at that. You don't see that. Walking into the ball, Fizz is talking about this kid, Griffin Channing's mom cleaned his teeth in Orange County.
Of course she did.
I know.
The crowd was reacting because Benintendi basically said, all right, fine. If you want to try and beat me to the base, let's go. And he took an even bigger lead. He was almost halfway in between third and home.
Yeah, I mean, it's tempting. It's tempting to steal on him, but, you know, he's got his attention for sure. And he's a right-hander. He's looking at you. The only, really, the best opportunity to steal a home on a straight steal is against a lefty whose back is to you. And you can't see it, who goes from the windup.
Santana. Boy, he fought off some tough pitches and ends up with a walk. Canning looks visibly frustrated that he wasn't able to put Carlos away. And so there are 2 on for Soler.
He eyeballed him. Now the defense going to swing back around to the other side, so Benintendi going to have to be a little bit more cautious of the third baseman over there. But Soler, they sure would love for him to get hot. It's been a little bit over swinging.
Wonder how many fastballs he's going to see, or at least hittable fastballs. And right now, teams are throwing Soler a lot of breaking balls away, down and away. And that's Canning's out pitch. Over the mound, Fletcher charges, and Soler, was that off of his foot? Nope, catcher's interference. And look down at Soler, and it appeared that he just gave up and didn't run it out. But he felt the bat hit Bemboom's glove, and it was not called immediately, but DJ Rayburn said catcher's interference.
You could see it. Hey, and look, Bemboom, welcome back to the big leagues. First inning, 2 errors. Wow. Not the start he wanted. Now you, like in last night's game when Kurt Suzuki, 15-year veteran, dropped the easy pop-up, it ignited the Royals. Let's see if they can capitalize here.
Bases loaded for Michael A. Taylor, and the Royals have been off to a very good start this year with the bases loaded. It was a miserable season last year with 3 men on base.
Typically be aggressive early. He wants to get strike 1 in there. Stay in the middle of the field if you can with your approach.
0-1.
Didn't want it.
Yeah, that run you're talking about That ended up being the difference in the game. In a 3-2 ball game, the Royals' third run was on that play in the 5th inning when Suzuki didn't catch the foul pop-up. Witt's at bat continued, and he singled and scored the go-ahead run, or the deciding run. 0-2 on Taylor.
That's another characteristic of the championship years there with the Royals, how they would make defenses pay for their mistakes. They would always somehow, some way find a way to ignite the rally after the team would give them to them. So let's see. Gonna have to shorten up his swing.
He's in trouble now. 0-2. Watch for the breaker.
No swing. That's Roberto Ortiz umpiring at first.
Anthony Bemboom in back of the plate. He wanted this in the worst way. Look at him. Just watch him. He's going to stand up and say, "He win, he win." You know, he wants out of this inning. He don't want his errors to count for any unearned runs.
Checked his swing on a fastball. A single, a walk, and catcher's interference to load him up, and the count goes from 0-2 to 3-2.
Watch this professional at bat here. Way to work it. That's exactly what you do. Got a couple of swings out of the way early, but now it's going to make him come in there. '24th pitch coming.
Everybody runs, and Taylor swings, and
oh no,
he hit Carlos Santana.
Oh, that hurt.
So that is an out, and hopefully Santana is an out.
Oh man, whew. He scalded that ball.
First base, he just got drilled on a line drive by Michael Taylor for the last out of the first.
And not in a good spot. Anytime you get hit by a ball that's hit over 100, anywhere on the body is going to hurt, but right there on the calf, that's a tough spot. But he's hanging in there, and he's going to stay in the game. But, you know, that's too bad Taylor couldn't have got that ball elevated, and we would have knocked in some runs from that. But as Santana walked across the diamond, he looked at Michael Taylor, and it looked like he apologized and said sorry, you know, but he couldn't get out of the way of that smash.
Well, Michael doesn't get an RBI, but he gets a hit, and then it scored 5 unassisted. And now Albert Pujols, who has quite a bit of history here in Kansas City, both on the field and off the field. Very high to left field into the sun, and Benintendi puts his hand, now his glove, and he finds it and makes the play. He used everything he had to separate that ball from the sun. The Home Depot getting more done, and this is what Albert did to remind Kansas Cityans that he was passed up by not just the Royals, but many other teams, going in the 13th round to the Cardinals. But this is what he did at Kauffman Stadium, and if you put all the numbers together, he has 25 home runs and 87 RBIs against the Royals. Ball one on Jose Iglesias. Brad Keller has given up 10 runs this year. 8 have come in the first inning. So back to first things first. And he had a scoreless first and can build from there.
Well, like you mentioned, getting to the first inning was going to be a big gain for Keller, and it was. He's settled in now. He threw his pitches. Just his 20th now, but he Got some outs, but he was aggressive and attacking and striking out Shohei Ohtani is a pretty good feat.
Iglesias has had a nice series. He's 4 out of 8. Little bit outside. That's hit well left center field, and Benintendi is there. So, and he didn't have very far to go. So the Royals were playing him in the right spot. And there are 2 down, and we were just showing you that number on Brad Keller, and being Royals pitcher of the year last year, and when he's right, he gets a lot of ground balls and he keeps the ball in the ballpark, and he only allowed 4 extra base hits all of last year, and then allowed 6 in his first 2 starts. Jammed, and it's going to be caught by Nicky Lopez. That is an 8-pitch 1-2-3 second inning for Keller.
Go ahead.
Stadium in left field, Cameron Gallagher. Cam with the start, his first of the year. Had a chance to talk to him this morning, and he said that this would feel a little bit like opening day, but he would try to treat it like the same as every other day. He figured there'd be some jitters until he caught that first pitch, and then everything would be fine. He did have one at bat against Lance Lynn. He said the challenge of not playing regularly, and he's used to this role, is that hitting is much tougher to get that real work in, but you can catch those bullpens and stay active every day. But he said much easier than when he first came up because he was playing every day in the minors. He understands his role and how to stay in shape. He's been prepping for this, talking to Keller, knowing that he might be able to get that start today. And in anticipation of the day game after a night game, his parents, Glenn and Gwen, decided to fly in from Philadelphia this morning. As I was talking to Cam this morning, they were in the air at about 9:45, so the Gallaghers should be here to watch their son today.
Understanding and accepting your role are 2 different commodities. You gotta do the other. You have to accept your role, embrace it, and move forward and not complain and hold your head down.
So you can understand it, but that doesn't mean you're going to accept it.
Right. You have to be able to accept your role, and that's a hard thing for some guys. Some guys believe they're everyday players.
Mm-hmm. 2-1 on Hunter Dozier, who's looking for his first hit. Two and two. When we were visiting with Mike Matheny for the game today, Steve Physiak, I thought, had a really good observation that, you know, when you're struggling like Dozier is right now, you're just looking for any way to contribute. And there's some emotion, and he's not an emotional guy, but I mean, he went home last night. He's still hitless. He bobbled a couple of balls over at third base, but he was part of that exciting final play of the game.
Hey!
And looking for his first hit, he's found it. With a nice, easy swing and a line drive into center field.
Yeah, so they play, whoop, there it is on the scoreboard. It's beautiful. Yeah, look at that. He reached out and went the other way. That's a great way to end your offer and to start your new streak.
He had been 0 for 16.
That's probably the biggest thing for a hitter. When, you know, as soon as you can get that first hit out of the way of the season, then now you're running.
Well, now you have a batting average.
Exactly. Nothing worse than looking at those zeros up there when you step in the batter's box.
Cam Gallagher takes high with a fastball.
Cam looks leaner this year to me. He looks like he's really worked hard and trained hard, and he's ready to go. Back up a Gold Glover. Pretty good spot.
Dozier runs, and Gallagher's a great candidate for a hit and run. He's also an excellent bunter. And that was a pitch that was in on him.
Well, anything that bounces around the diamond, around the infield, this young man right here should be able to field with no trouble. Gold Glover. Last season, he won a Gold Glove. Rawlings, second pitcher all time for the Angels to win a Gold Glove. Pretty impressive.
One ball, two strikes. And the other guy is your good buddy who won 5 with the Angels, Mark Langston. 7 overall.
7 total. And as I was talking to Mark Langston on the phone about his team, the Angels that he covers on radio, he said this young man here is an athlete. He can run, like he threatened to chase Benintendi down off the mound. But Langley, he was an exceptional athlete. Soccer player growing up, had a great pickoff move to first base, and he, led the league in strikeouts 3 years too. I mean, he was a great left-handed pitcher, no question.
That'll hit the netting on the right field side. Still 2-2.
Over the years up here in the booth, I love the players, I love everybody, but not everybody's great. So I've learned how to use the word great over the years. Only use it when it pertains to that player. I mean, because not everybody is great. Pujols is great. Trout's great. Ohtani's great. Whit Merrifield is a great hitter.
Cam is down on strikes, and that's Canning's second.
Hey, sign up your young fans for Royals Kids Club, Sluggers Blue Crew. Members receive a Royals Youth Tank Top, Blue Crew street sign, temporary tattoos, multi-use gaiters, 2 tickets to a game. So for $30, you can sign your young one up at Royals.com/Blue Crew and have them be dressed like a Royal.
A couple of years ago, Hunter Dozier tied with Adalberto Mondesi for the league lead in triples. And he's a big guy who can really run.
See him throwing it over there to Albert Pujols. While we're on my good friend Mark Langston, he had an episode in the broadcast booth, or not an episode. He had a heart attack in the booth
in the middle of the game
a couple years ago, which was a miracle they brought him back. So he was telling me, he was sharing with me about it, and I said, well, Langley, they took you to the hospital and you were in Houston. You didn't know, Michelle, your wife, she couldn't get there in time. He said Albert Pujols showed up right after the game, and he'll never forget that. Albert loved on him and stayed there and took, brought him stuff to eat and things. Just that tells you about Albert Pujols.
slice to left. John Jay is there. 2 down with Dozier back to first. Witt swung at the first pitch he saw from Canning in the first inning and lined to left. He is lined to the outfield on the first pitch in the first inning in back-to-back games. And then Benintendi came up and he lined a base hit to right on the first pitch. So Canning and Bemboon had to adjust the approach right away. So the Royals went with an ambush approach, as they call it. Fastball's in for a strike.
So Canning knew that Witt barreled his first fastball,
and the chances of him swinging at the first pitch again were not very good. So he laid another fastball in there. The hitters don't want to make an out and only 2 outs and only see 2 pitches.
Well hit to center field, and Trout is there. So the Royals get a leadoff single. Canning gets the next 3. Otherwise busted.
Yeah. Nowadays, you get a free pass. Did he get hit by that pitch there?
Nope. Anthony Bemboom.
Hit the bat, hit something. Ah, there you go.
Keller has set down 6 in a row. So he's getting outs, and yet he hasn't gotten it out on the ground yet. Everything has been in the air, with the exception of the strikeout against Ohtani. So there is a ground ball, and Bemboom gets it into center field for the Angels' second hit.
There he is. Fastball straight in the middle.
Jon Jay with a runner at first. One of Mike Matheny's former players in St. Louis. Jon Jay was there before Matheny, and he was on the Cardinals 2011 championship team, and then played for Matheny in 12, 13 when the Cardinals went back to the World Series, 14, 15, and 16. Out at second, and no double play, but the Royals get the lead runner, and there's one down in the third.
Jay's a winning ball player. He's got over 10 years in the majors. He can do a lot of things. He can pinch hit for you, play left field, right field.
Maybe even some center. Takes good jumps. We had him in center field here at the K when he wore a Royals uniform.
He played
Did a nice job.
59 games here back in 18, and then the Royals traded him to Arizona.
You know, you don't have to have great blazing speed to be a center fielder, but you have to be very, very adequate at taking first steps and getting good jumps on balls out there. Good athlete, he can read the ball off the bat. The greatest ever I saw was Jim Edmonds. Not blazing speed at all, but man, what an athlete.
Denny Matthews, I'm sure, would tell you if you went and asked him right now that Jim Edmonds made the greatest catch in the outfield in the history of this ballpark against David Howard in straightaway center field. There's a strike to David Fletcher. A diving back toward the warning track, and it wasn't an over the shoulder play, it was an over the head play. I mean, it was a total anticipation play of running to where you think the ball is going to be, diving for it, and being right.
That was before they had the renovation here. You know, I remember that play where you'd see the fence, the outfield fence, and then there was a fence beyond that. There used to be grass out there.
Fizz had that call broadcasting for the Angels. Off the knuckles, and Witt let it bounce. I don't know if he could have played it on the fly, but it looked like he was setting himself up for a big bounce and maybe getting the lead runner, but that ball had a lot of side spin on it, and it kicked away. And the Angels will have 2 on with 1 out.
Yeah, he was thinking, no doubt. And Jon Jay, he read it. He knew he wasn't going to catch it, so he took off. And then, like you said, it hit the dirt and had some spin on it. He couldn't glove it. But Jay wasn't going to fall into that trap.
So 2 on for Shohei Ohtani, who is Keller's only strikeout so far. Keller got him with a fastball up. That's a slider down and in. 1-1. Here you go, Hud.
Okay.
Pre-high definition television.
Okay, ball's hit. Look at him run. Took a look. Wow. Oh, man. Phenomenal. Wow. You know what? When you look up like that on a ball direct, you can only see for so long. Your neck only bends so far.
He couldn't see the ball when he was doing that.
Oh, that's an unbelievable catch.
So he was, as he was going back, he was looking over his right shoulder as long as he could, but then it became looking straight up and just diving to where he thought the ball was going to be.
Yeah, man. See, he's an athlete, no doubt. Athletes win games for you.
Sam Abramson dug that one quickly out of the archives.
Thank you, Sammy.
2-2 on Ohtani.
Look at Cam showing his blocking skills. So you don't play every day. Guess what? You work harder than an everyday player to keep your skills like that. Excellent job of squaring it up. And Pedro Gafal, the catching instructor, he grills these guys. Cam Gallagher, per inside edge, blocked 100% of balls in the dirt during last season. How about that? 100%. He's good at it. Keller might be a little strong. That last pitch throw, 98.
Ohtani takes the walk this time. He chased a pitch very similar to that one for the strikeout. So a ground ball base hit, a little squib infield single, and now a walk, and the bases are loaded for Mike Trout.
Gonna have to keep the ball down here and hope and pray that he hits it at Nicky Lopez or Dozier or somebody on the infield. They can roll up a pair here, but that air, you don't want that to come back and bite you. It was a tough one at that particular time in the order.
Comes right at him. Trout swung at the first pitch and flied to center in the first inning. That first fastball from Keller had that good two-seam action on it. Got in on Trout.
Some really good natural movement Brad Keller possesses. Keep her down.
Got him to chase. 0-2.
Loves the ball down, so he's gonna, he's gonna swing at a pitch like that. Excellent action on his slider.
One ball, two strikes. Last night, Danny Duffy struck out Trout twice, Jake Brentz once, then a big strikeout from Greg Holland in the 9th inning, and that was Trout's 6th career 4-strikeout game.
One and two, you try to get him off the plate. He loves to golf those pitches and get them airborne.
Chased again. So Trout has struck out in 5 of his last 6 at-bats, and that is a huge out for Brad Keller.
Okay, pitch by pitch. First ball inside 95. Now down. So he's got him into a couple strikes, tried to raise his eye level, and then finishes in there. Great sequence of pitching there. And that's what I'm saying. Not throwing, he's pitching. Keller looks like he's becoming stellar again.
Fouled away by Walsh. Now, Walsh, last time up, lined out to Soler in right field. So Trout doesn't appear to be picking the ball out of Keller's hand very well today, but Walsh had a really good swing, and nobody in the American League has more RBIs than Walsh going back to early September last season. So the inning is not over.
No. And you know, but he's ahead like that now quickly. But you know, if you're Walsh, you're digging yourself that your skipper puts you in between two Hall of Famers, Trout and Pujols. You're going to see some pitches.
It looks like Ian Kennedy is up there for the Angels. Doesn't it?
It kind of does. Be careful. Nothing too good. 0-2. Make him chase.
There's also the bounce one in the dirt and throw out John Jay at third to end the inning play.
Those are hard to ride up, even though in the pregame show Holland said that him and Salvi had that planned. You don't plan things like that. That's just baseball. That's what happened.
Blocked by Gallagher with a runner at third.
So
two balls, two strikes.
When you have a backstop like Gallagher that blocks 100% of the balls, it really frees you up to throw pitches down in the zone like that. He's not afraid to miss. He's not going to throw a runaway because you have an expert technician back there who works to stay as good as he is.
Got him with a fastball at 97. So with the bases loaded and one out, Keller strikes out Trout and Walsh.
Way to pick up wit.
Masson is in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat in today's game. Linda currently serves as the occupational health nurse administrator for the Mid-America District of the United States Postal Service. And she has been recognized for multiple awards, including leadership awards from the Missouri chapter of the American Association of Occupational Health Nurses, an official commendation from the United States Postal Service, and the 2020 Mid-America District MVP.
Outstanding work.
Well, we see it so often. One team lets a great scoring opportunity slip away, and the next team scores in the next half inning. Benintendi, Perez, and Santana are coming up. It's 0-2 on Benintendi. He singled and stole a base in the first inning. The Royals had a great scoring opportunity in the first. Canning got out of that. Benintendi strikes out. That's Canning's third.
Yep, he's going to finish him with the knuckle curve. Excuse me, it's a spike curve. And he's able to finish him off there. There's a difference. The knuckle curve, you actually curl up your knuckle and you put it on there. Guys can pitch like that. And then the spike is just to put your nail, your index finger on top of the leather of the baseball. It gives you a better torque and a better grip.
Salvi was a big out for Canning in getting out of the first inning when he took a called third strike. That is well hit into deep right center field. Trout is back, and that is gone. And Salvador Perez has his 7th hit of the series. He is 7 for 10.
Wow. All aboard. Get on Salvi's back because he's carrying the load, man. I'll tell you, inside out. Little help with a breeze blowing that way. Once he got it airborne, you knew it was not coming back. What a nice compact swing. Middle, and he kept his hands inside the baseball. Great balance there. Man, that's a picturesque swing and follow through. I tell you what, you're exactly right. You called it. The team before you had bases loaded, 1 out. They couldn't get a run in. Brad Keller really boosted his confidence by getting out of that jam when an error was made by Witt and picked him up. And now I think this could put Keller right back in that seat where they expect him to be. Driver's seat.
That fan out there just gave the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce a commercial.
How was that?
And we'll show it again. Here's Carlos Santana. Now I'm assuming that this is an Angels fan visiting Kauffman Stadium. A Royals fan ends up with the home run ball, but hey, young guy, hope you enjoyed your trip to Kansas City.
Wow.
Here's a little souvenir for your trip back to California.
I love that. Well, reminds me of the Giants beating us in 14, and the minute they went out and celebrated, the Royals turned their fountains orange to congratulate them.
Santana fouls it away. Carlos is lucky to be on his feet. He took a line drive from Michael A. Taylor off of his leg when he was running from second to third on a 3-2 pitch, and that ended the bottom of the first inning, and he went down and had a tough time getting back up. And isn't it harder, Hud, to get out of the way on a line drive when you're running as hard as you can?
Oh, absolutely. He barely took. Thankfully, he looked and saw it coming. Who knows where that would have hit him had he not been looking? But at least he jumped and tried to get out of the way of it. And for the ball to just deaden, to drop right there, tells you it hit him squarely.
Yep.
And he couldn't walk without a limp all the way to first base. I know a lot of guys that come out of the game. He stayed in there. This guy's tough. I mean, the calf is a really tender place to get hit.
3-2. It is much easier to avoid that when a runner is standing still or they're going into their secondary lead and you're standing still. You have no movement with your head and you can kind of judge the ball. But when you're in full stride, I mean, there's really nothing the runner can do.
No.
Fastball strikes out Santana, and there are 2 down. Let's bring in Jeff Montgomery. And Monty, we're talking about Canning's spike curveball. Here's looked like a strikeout on a changeup. Why do some pitchers go with the spike curveball instead of the traditional curveball?
Ryan, I think it's more of a grip factor, how they feel with a baseball in their hand. You have to be able to spin the baseball, and the better you can get, that really tight, like vice grip type feel for the baseball, the more you're able to make it happen. And Hud, I heard you talk about, the knuckle curve, and that's a pitch that I've played with a couple guys. The knuckle curve, you almost kind of spin it out with your finger. You have to have obviously very strong fingers to spin it, but the spike curve is one where really what you do again is just use that to get that really tight downhill spin so the ball almost rolls off the table.
See that little index finger right there, Monty? That's he's trying to get a grip with that.
Yeah, that's really almost like a spike slider to me. That doesn't have the over-the-top spin. A lot of guys that I've seen and played with, they use it to spin the ball really almost 12-6. In other words, rolling that ball, completely downhill, so to speak.
There's a strike on Soler, and it seems to me, Monty, that the guys who throw the spike curveball, that it does just that. It spikes. I mean, it has a lot of downward movement.
Yeah, and it's really the same mechanics. Just throwing your traditional overhand curveball, but you just have, again, that really much firmer grip on the baseball, and it doesn't have a tendency to kind of slip out of the fingers. It just really is tight. And some of the guys that throw that, when they release the baseball, it's almost like they're snapping their fingers. It's like a really tight grip, and again, once they follow through, you almost hear that snap when they release the baseball.
1-2 on Soler. He reached on catcher's interference his first time up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Monty, he throws it hard.
Yeah, that's why I say this is to me the spin. It's almost like a slider type spin, but I assume it's probably the same effect with regards to his grip. He gets that really good, that almost that firm grip onto the baseball, which allows him to get that that tight spin on the baseball.
3-2 on Soler.
And I always think about the various pitches. Everything's all the same as far as your mechanics, everything all the way out to your wrist, and that wrist and your hand and your fingers, that becomes almost like the steering wheel with what you're going to make the baseball do, whether you're going to spin it off your fingertips for a fastball, or you're going to spin it for a curveball, slider, changeup, whatever it's going to be. That's almost like the steering wheel for the pitcher on what he's going to make the baseball do.
Interesting. Soler chased. That was the pitch right there. So Canning strikes out 3 in the inning, but Salvador Perez gives the Royals a lead with a home run. Salvador Perez home run. He's the DH today. And now Keller throws a strike to Albert Pujols, who flied out to left field in the second inning. He went around. And it's 0-2. Albert is the youngest of 12. Born and raised mostly in the Dominican Republic. His family spent a short amount of time in New York, and then he moved here when he was 16. Going to Fort Osage High School in Independence and Maple Woods College, where he was drafted by the Cardinals. He met his wife Dee Dee here. She's a KC native. They have 5 kids. Bringing all that stuff up, as this might be Albert's last big league game at Kauffman Stadium. We'll see. He is 0 for 2.
Hunter Dozier, that play right there is going to get him locked in back at third. That was a tough play to come and get. Short hop pick, get his feet and throw it across the diamond. It will just be a matter of time before he gets back into his game.
Kevin Seitzer once told me, and this was specifically for day games after night games when you're just not feeling 100%, and for Dozier, his timing's probably off and his thumb hurts, that you just have to use what you have. So if you show up at the ballpark and your body's sore or you're just tired or whatever, I mean, then you just got to go with what you have. Maybe you got to think about getting a base hit to the opposite field or not taking a full swing or whatever. And Dozier wants it so badly that maybe those games after coming back from the thumb the first time, there might have been an attempt to, as we love to say in sports, do too much. And sometimes you just have to go with what your body will allow you that particular day.
A lot of truth to that.
Seitz said that he remembered he'd seen guys tired in day game after night game, and they're out there running and they're in the weight room and they're on the stationary bike trying to get all fired up, and that usually doesn't work. Line drive to Witt, so Iglesias is lined out twice today. Monty, let's go back to Keller getting out of the bases loaded in the third inning and what he did with Walsh for the last out.
Yeah, right. Jared Walsh, look at the location of these pitches. None of these pitches are in anywhere close to the same location. He's in, he's out, he's up, he's down, and he's going to finish a pitch with the 97 up and in. That's really tough to do much with. If you do, best thing you can do is probably pop it up. In a bases loaded situation, that's exactly what you want.
Monty, is it safe to say that Brad Keller is back?
I like his aggressiveness, and I think that's the thing that was maybe lacking in his first 2 starts. He was not getting ahead of hitters. He wasn't allowing himself to get in positions where he could expand that strike zone and make things happen with his breaking ball. His fastball's been good again today.
Thank you, Monty. 2 ground ball outs for Keller in the 4th.
By Edelman and Thompson, half of the jackpot will go to you, with the other helping Kansas City kids go to college. You can play in Kansas and Missouri. You purchase raffle tickets and find out the winner at Royals.com/50/50.
1-0 Royals on a Salvador Perez home run in the 3rd inning. Royals have had base runners in every inning, including the bases loaded in the 1st. And Michael A. Taylor might have the hardest hit ball in the game so far, but he had a line drive that hit Carlos Santana, who was running on the pitch, and that killed the inning. That was the 3rd out. Taylor gets a base hit by Rule, base hit, and then the closest fielder was the 3rd baseman Rojas. So single and then 5 unassisted, and he came back from 0-2 to fill out the count and then hit the line drive.
Crushed it. Over 100 exit velo. And you know, he would have much rather, you know, knocked in some runs, and he'll take the hit, but man, he feels bad that Santana was the back end, the receiving end of that line drive. Oof. Royals are lucky they didn't carry him off. Santana.
Well, let's see if he can battle back again here. Canning got that spike curveball biting today. He has 5 strikeouts in the first 3 innings, mostly with that pitch. That one was out over the plate. That is a fair ball inside the bag, and Taylor's got an infield single. He thought about advancing, but it came off the netting strong, and second baseman Fletcher had hustled over to get it just in case, and Taylor is 2 for 2.
Hunter Dozier, he's back, and check him out now. Okay, this is evident right here. Gets his first hit of the year on a really tough slider away. Hey, that's a base hit, and welcome to having a batting average this year. Now this play here, a backhand one-hopper coming in on Albert Pujols. Plant your feet and throw him out. He's had some issues on defense too, we've noticed, but now those 2 elements right there are going to get him back, his confidence, and that's what you need to succeed up here.
Michael can find the right pitch. That spike curveball, while it's tough on hitters, can also be tough on the catcher, especially if it's down. That'd be a great pitch to run on. DJ Rayburn says that Dozier went around and it's 0-1. Taylor would be, I think, a bit intimidating for a pitcher to look over his shoulder, because he has in his posture and his lead, he looks like he's going. He's got his hips and his shoulders turned towards second base, putting him in a running position, and I think that would be something that a pitcher would notice, glancing over his shoulder.
Yeah, and of course, you know, they're well schooled in their pregame meetings that they have on these guys. But you know what Taylor does is he opens that up a little bit to help him with that first takeaway, that first step. Your hips are open a little bit. It's easier to turn, go to second base and get into full speed.
Time was granted by DJ Rayburn before the pitch was thrown. last year for Dozier, there was a huge disparity for him depending on whether he was ahead in the count or behind in the count. Taylor runs. He got a pretty good break, and he is going to be in there. He kept his foot on the bag. Fletcher made a tough pick on a throw that came in short. And Taylor's at second with nobody out.
Great jump. This is what we were just talking about. I mean, he left before the pitcher went home. I mean, that was just perfect. That's how he got the bag right there. That's his first in a Royals uniform. Look at that slide. Love the slide there. That foot right there on top. Had no chance. Stay on the base.
Dozier's down in the count 0-2.
You can tell Michael Taylor's a good instinctive base runner by a lot of different things. You know, you mentioned his open front before he leaves, his open side. And then I watched him when he got up and dusted himself off. Now he's looking again. He's looking at the outfielders. He's looking at where they're positioned. And that way he can make a mental note. And with nobody out, he'll get a better jump and could score on a ball that's hit because he knows where they are, where they're playing. That's huge for a good instinctive runner.
Dozier's trying to take a shot at the right side to get Taylor over to third.
They're getting into their game.
They were second in the league in stolen bases last year by only one. They were just one stolen base behind Seattle.
Once Mondesi gets healthy and gets back in there, that'll boost those numbers greatly again.
1-2.
You know, and the Royals are one game over 500. They haven't even been close to being consistent in their game. And they're doing it all without Mondesi, a tremendous defender and offensive player.
In their last 6 games before today, the Royals are averaging 2.5 runs per game. But they're 3-3.
Yeah, that's, I tell you, some strengths. One of them is the will not to give up and quit. I mean, that's called chemistry. That's hard to teach that. And that's not on a number, but that's one of the reasons. The Royals are well trained, and they're all pulling on the same end of the rope.
Dozier not only hits it to right, he hits it to deep right. So Taylor will move up 90 feet. So that is a quality at bat for Dozier. Now a word from Nutter Home Loans.
Knock it out of the park with a Nutter pre-approval or cashback refinance. Nutter Home Loans. It's better at Nutter.
Pitching coach Matt Wise goes out to have a conference with just about everybody.
Now, I think that these guys are so well schooled, a Joe Madden team, you know, they're well prepared. Probably saying something that Cam Gallagher's up and this guy can bunt. We've seen him and we know he possibly could. So that's all right, always good. Madden probably sent Wise out there to give him a little heads up about the possibility.
And it doesn't even have to be a squeeze. With Taylor's speed at third, Gallagher could go basically into sacrifice bunt mode. And if he puts it in a good spot, that should be enough to get Taylor home. But the infield is in, so that increases Gallagher's chances of driving a run in by swinging the bat.
That's right. Stay in the middle of the field with a good, easy swing.
Well, he's going to square to bunt, and that was not a squeeze.
So that's good for Gallagher. It misses up out of the zone, ball one, and he squared totally and gave himself up there. So now we all know the hardest pitch to bunt is a fastball. So he can come right back in there. He could take the bunt sign off and let him swing away and knock in the run.
Swinging. Shallow center. And Fletcher is out, and he makes the play. Taylor tags, and he's going to be in there. I don't know if Trout could have caught that ball, Hud, but on that play, it would have been better off for the Angels if Trout caught that ball coming in than Fletcher going out.
Outstanding. How about the skills of the Royals? Able to score on a 110-foot sac fly. That's what Taylor, good job. He read it. He went back to third saying, I can score on that. And once he catches it, if he does, his momentum's carrying him so far. Fletcher, he can't stop and turn around and make a good throw home. So that's a heads-up RBI for Cam, but also Taylor getting it for him. That is big right there. Just talked about his instincts on the bases, and we saw a whole bunch of it right there. Fantastic work.
Do you call that a sacrifice fly to the second baseman or a sacrifice pop-up to the second baseman?
I can call it.
I mean,
call it whatever you want.
In the stats, it's a sacrifice fly, but
yeah.
I don't know if I'd write that down in my scorecard.
Now Vance Wilson, in his second year as a third base coach, he probably didn't have to tell Taylor, because I was watching Taylor to see if he was going to go back and tag, and he did that on his own, because you're a player, you know you have the speed to pull that off.
Yeah, and recognizing who's making the play, because you got the infielder running away from home plate.
Let's try it again. Watch Taylor. Now watch him. He says, no, I can score on that. Watch me. And a good head first slide, sweeping his body across and his hand across the dish, throwing his body out there. Michael A. Taylor, what a nice find by the Royals.
Did you see in the background of that play too, Mike Matheny pumping his fist?
That's right.
One of the first things that Mike Matheny was asked at his introductory press conference was what he wanted to do differently with the Royals than he did with the Cardinals. And without hesitation, he said, I think I need to enjoy and celebrate every win more than I did in St. Louis, because the tendency in baseball is, okay, you win the game, we'll clap our hands, we'll shake some hands, and then we got to move on to the next one because we have another game. And as opposed to, there's no given at this level. I mean, every win at the major league level, this is a Dayton Moore staple, every win at the major league level means something. And we didn't see Mike Matheny very often when he's with the Cardinals, but I remember a much more stoic manager, and he leads the league in fist pumps on big plays and last outs of wins.
Now
he does.
Exactly. I tell you what, that's something that the Royals learned. No problem for the Gold Glover. That's something that the Royals learned in 13, 14, 15 when James Shields came and said, let's celebrate the win. Brad Keller again. He's going out there and he's doing his job, mowing them down. Sliders, hard, heavy fastballs. We've seen some 97 from the big fella at 6'4", 235. This guy, he can, when he's down in the zone and he's throwing his pitches with conviction and attacking the strike zone, he's a force.
2-0 against Anthony Bemboom. With all of the outs he has gotten today, his first two ground ball outs didn't come until the fourth inning. There was a fielder's choice in the previous inning, but everything was in the air in innings 1 and 2. So that's when you really know that Keller's right. It's when he's getting most of his outs on the ground. Three and one. John Jay is next, and then the top of the order and David Fletcher.
I want to go right after
bim boom here.
You know, the only walk was to Shohei Ohtani, and that's okay. If you want to put him on, walk him. I mean, and I don't think Keller tried to do it. But these guys here, down towards the end of the batting order, got to go after.
And Keller comes back from 3-1 and gets his 4th strikeout.
Exactly what his pitching coach Cal Eldred was saying. Same thing. Go after him. Come on. Finish this guy. Challenge him. Let him hit it. Blew it by him. Staying on top, you know, at that frame at 6'4", that downhill angle and the natural movement he gets out of his 4-seam fastball and his 2-seam sinker makes him tough. And he's adding and subtracting with the velocity on those pitches. Makes it even harder for the hitter to square up.
0-2 on Jon Jay. On the ground to Dozier. That ball had some side spin on it, but Hunter stayed with it, and there's another ground ball out.
So what we're seeing today is a Danny Duffy start from last night that Keller's taken the baton from and saying, oh, right, that's how we do it. That's right. Thank you. This is important that the Royals starting pitching starts competing with one another internally. We call that passing the winning baton on to the next guy, the next day's starter. And Keller says, man, I'm not going to let Duffy show me up. I'm going to go out there and pitch my game, even though he hasn't his first 2 starts of the year.
One and one on Fletcher. Two and one. Three balls, one strike with Ohtani on deck. So Fletcher should get something good to hit here. Three and two.
It's important. Hitters that hit behind you. What kind of hitter is that guy behind you?
Dozier backhands, gets to his feet, and the inning is over. A strikeout and 2 more ground ball outs for Brad Keller in the 5th.
How about that?
Name that tune.
I can't, but I was bouncing to it. I liked it. Rhythm. Unstoppable. You better believe it. When the Royals get into their game, they're going to be a tough team to beat. Especially with their come from behind mentality and their battling and all that from the manager's personality.
One hop to Rojas, and Witt is 0 for 3. He does have 2 lineouts today. Salvi homered in the 3rd, and then Gallagher was credited with a sac fly on a pop-up to the second baseman Fletcher. That scored Taylor in the 4th. So the Royals have 2 runs, 5 hits against Canning. And the Angels have no runs, 2 hits against Brad Keller. Andrew Benintendi has one of the 5 hits today, and that's lined into right field. He will make the turn, and Andrew Benintendi has his first extra base hit of the season, and he's 2 for 3 today.
Hey, what a nice lob shot. slider kind of stayed up. He hits it off the end of his bat, and you could tell he did not barrel that, and that's what allowed him to get to second base there. So Walsh had to go a long way to run the right fielder to pick up that ball, and he challenged him, and I'm not sure a good throw would have gotten him.
It's also Benintendi's first multi-hit game of the season. And more importantly, he's in scoring position for Salvador Perez. Salvi is 7 out of 10 in the 3-game series. Oh, 0-1.
You know, just seeing that Benintendi now, it's just his first extra base hit, and you know, he hasn't gotten hot yet, but he's contributed in a lot of wins already. The bunt in Chicago, you know, to force that play at home, and he scored, you know, so I don't think anybody ever is concerned about him.
He got on with a first-inning walk last night and scored the first run.
Yeah, I mean, so, you know, he's doing things to help his team win, even though he hadn't gotten hot yet. Ooh,
it's always a empty feeling for a hitter. They chase one out of the strike zone and then become over patient with the next one, and a smart pitcher sometimes can find the right spot to just groove one in there. And it's very rare that Salvi is in take mode.
Yeah, I'm impressed with Canny. You know, he's a decent pitcher. He's got good command, and seems like he's got good mound presence.
Another fastball, and Salvi was a little late on it.
Opposite field homers from the right-handed bats. This is not a good place for you here in this big ballpark. But, you know, if you get the wind blowing just right, you hit it just right, you can do that. And Salvi has plenty of power that way. You know, he has reminded me over the years, and still does, of Hall of Famer Tony Perez. Tony Perez used to go opposite field with the best of them. That's where he wore out. In Salvador, when he's going good, he hits that too.
That came up and hit Ben Boom in the mask.
Great technique.
On one hop, and Iglesias makes a nice backhand play. Aren't many in the league that have softer hands than Jose Iglesias.
Yeah, he definitely does, and this is how they'll determine that. With a short hop like that, it's like that ball landed in a pillow. Fun position to play.
Carlos Santana has a walk and a strikeout, and with that walk he is 2 away from 1,000 for his career. Oh, 0-1. He's not quite there yet. He's had good swings since the beginning of the season, but just not, his timing isn't right quite yet. And he is 5 for 34.
I would agree. But like Benintendi, has done things with his glove and with his arm to help him win. You know, and as I watched that play again last night where he fielded the ball and threw home on a bases loaded play, his body was lined up in direct line of the first baseline and catcher. No wonder Salvi didn't know whether he stepped on the base or not. He couldn't tell.
And we're elevated our position, so it was clear that Santana was nowhere near stepping on the base at first.
Right, and from our angle we could see that, but Salvi's angle, he's ground level. He couldn't tell, and that's why, you know, of course, I thought it was a funny moment that Albert was pointing to the ground saying, all you have to do is tag and play.
But had Santana touched first base, that takes the force out, and then Salvi would have had to tag Pujols.
Right. So it wasn't like Salvi was in the dark on that. He was deceived a little bit. But
3-1 on Santana.
But my main point was his arm. Check it out here. Watch it. Watch where Santana is. Okay, he's right in line. Salvador couldn't see whether he stepped on the base, so why not just be assured? In baseball, you can't assume anything. When you assume in baseball, you lose.
Salvi was shocked that it wasn't a tag play at home plate because he thought Santana had stepped on the bag. That'll be backing out of play, 3-2. Yadier Molina got a long standing ovation in the first inning of the Cardinals game against the Nationals in St. Louis today as he is catching his 2,000th Major League game.
Wow.
And appropriately, Adam Wainwright was pitching, and those two have been together forever.
Another first ballot Hall of Famer.
Santana takes a walk.
Yadi's middle brother, Jose Molina, is on a member of the Angels coaching staff. He's in the dugout over there. Matt Wise, pitching coach, says, you know, I think we better go talk to him here and let him know that Soler, if he gets a pitch, can hit it out of the Soler system.
And while they chat, here's a word from the Home Depot.
Know before you go and avoid any curveballs. Use the Home Depot project calculators to know exactly how much you need.
So Canning's about to throw his 90th pitch. They go to work in the Angels bullpen, and there are 2 on and 2 out for Jorge Soler. Laid off the breaking ball down and away.
It's a big at-bat here for Soler. You know, they want to get him going in the worst way. He's just missing by a tick. He's just off a little. And like Dozier, he needs to get a big hit to get some confidence going now.
He's struck out in 10 of his last 14 plate appearances.
Yeah. And a lot of those are 1, 2, 3 pitch strikeouts. Oh,
fastball out over the plate, but he got underneath it. Iglesias goes back, fighting the sun, and he's got it, turning his head away at the last moment. And the Royals strand 2 in the 5th.
He's set to bat in his first start of the year on the mound. He hit a home run and threw a pitch over 100 miles an hour. Talking to Mark Gubicza, we've all had our comps here of who Ohtani reminds him of. And he struggled to pinpoint one person because there is no one person. But Gooby said that he certainly has the wow factor that Gooby and Monty and all their teammates saw with Bo Jackson. He said on the mound, he reminds me of Thor, Noah Syndergaard. He said he runs like Devon White with power, but the grace of Willie Wilson. And he said he has the bat speed or the bat power of a Harold Baines from the left side. He said you put all those together, and maybe those are some of the ingredients of Shohei Ohtani. He said the only guy he could think of otherwise to compare him to would be Babe Ruth, but he said Babe Ruth didn't throw like Shohei.
And he flies the team plane. He does everything.
Yeah. You know, he, from a left-handed batter's perspective, there's only one that I could think of in my playing days, and that was Darryl Strawberry. Very similar physique, tall, long, lanky arms and legs, and big power to all fields.
It's just fun watching him because he can hit it as hard or as far as anybody, and then with 2 strikes, I mean, he goes into like a little hitter mode.
Yeah, Ichiro.
Yeah, just kind of slap it away to stay alive. Keller gets him with a slider down and in and strikes him out twice today.
So good to see Keller stellar again. Watch this follow through. That's not a good hack, young people. His feet were moving trying to get out of it. Had some style points though.
So that's 5 for Keller, 2 against Ohtani. And Trout comes up with 1 away and nobody on. He is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And there's a base hit off of Witt's glove. So Trout's on with 1 out. He's 1 for 3.
Oh man. Good try.
Jorge Soler made the last out of the bottom of the 5th, and now in a 2-0 game, getting into the later innings, Jarrod Dyson takes over in right. Hopefully that's the reason why. If the Royals can hang on, Soler maybe gets another at bat, but now you're talking defense, a close game in the later innings.
Yeah, we hope. So what we could figure.
1-1 on Walsh. You know, we've been talking about how well he has swung the bat going back to last September, and we haven't told you that the Angels got him in the 39th round. He's a good hitter. He is a very good defensive first baseman, and because of some injuries prior to this series, he's been playing in the outfield. He hasn't played very much first base, but he is very much a complete player. That's a heck of a find.
Better believe that. And you know, when you take batting practice with Trout, Anthony Rendon, Pujols, you're going to watch those guys and see how they go about their work. So what they've helped him eliminate the high leg kick, and he goes kind of back to a little toe tap start to his swing, and that's to load the hips and everything. And so, you know, they dropped his hands down to get him, so he's firing through the zone, and he's got really good bat speed. This kid can hit. But you know, you can't help it when you have teammates and you're taking batting practice with those great hitters like that every day. It's going to rub off on you, some of their technique, some of their style.
And that's stroked up the right field line. Trout goes to third. He's going to be waved home. And here's the relay to the plate, and it skips by Gallagher. So Trout is safe. Walsh has a double. So it's 2-1, Royals leading in the 6th.
Okay, it's a little breaking ball. We just got through talking about Walsh, how quick his hands are and how he can get it through the zone. Now, Trout knew right away he's on his horse and he's swimming upstream. Here he goes. Dyson with a good throw in there. Witt, just a little short hop. You know, I'm not sure they would have gotten him. And Trout looked to me like he hurt his left arm in some particular way there. I'm not sure how it happened. But I know they're looking at him. He kind of can carry his arm. See, he's going to carry his arm right there. What was his shoulder or his tricep or something? Boy, they hope he's okay. They made him hustle for that one.
I didn't see anything here on that play.
I didn't either.
Huh.
Yeah. Keller, look at him in the background there, backing up home just like he wanted to be. He was right there, so he kept Walsh from advancing.
Albert Pujols is 0 for 2.
Royals got themselves another ball game here.
One and one on Albert. And that got him. So Keller missed inside with the first pitch and then hits him with the third pitch. 2 on, 1 out.
Coming inside sets up the breaking ball, just like the previous pitch he went inside on him, but this one here just clipped him just a tad on his right forearm.
So that puts 2 on for Iglesias, who was quietly had a good series. He has really swung the bat well. Today he is 0 for 2, but both outs were line outs, 1 to left, 1 to second. He had 4 hits in the first 2 games of the series. 0-2.
The first game of the series, I had a little flashback. We were talking about Pujols, and we're playing a team that's wearing red, and Iglesias, to me, looks like Yadier Molina with his stance. And wears number 4. If you blur your eyes, you could convince yourself that that's Molina. Chance for 2. Gonna have to hurry. The throw is high and late. Iglesias beats it out. The Royals get the second out. Walsh goes to third. And now Jose Rojas, the third baseman, comes up, and Joe Madden has used a couple of different third basemen in the series because of injuries. And Rojas will not be facing Brad Keller. Jake Brentz comes on with runners at first and third in the 6th. Brad Keller departs after 5 2/3 innings. He has allowed only 1 run. He's a Chevy call to the bullpen, and he inherits Walsh at third and Iglesias at first, and he gets a left-hand batter in Jose Rojas. And Jake Brentz has been unscored upon in his first 5 games. The closest thing he's allowed to a run was a sac fly in his second appearance, and a run that was charged to the pitcher before him. But for a guy who has a history of being wild, he's become a dependable reliever in a short amount of time for Mike Matheny.
Better believe it. Had a 1, 2, 3, 7th inning last night, and first pitch here, slider for a strike. The kid seizing the moment. That's what you do. Get an opportunity like this, and you're a rookie. You dazzle like you have been. He's going to get more big high leverage situations. Big arm, upper 90s.
Slider change.
Late on a fastball. We were telling you that Joe Madness had to use a few different guys at third in this series because Anthony Rendon was placed on the injured list before the series began with a left groin strain. So says our University of Kansas Health System injury update. This is year number 2 in his 7-year contract after winning a World Series with the Nationals in 2019. 2 balls, 2 strikes. All Brents did last night was come on in the 7th inning for Danny Duffy and get Fletcher, Ohtani, and Trout, and struck out Mike Trout. That in a close game. Today in a close game. That pops out of Cam's glove, but Iglesias isn't going anywhere. Everyone's making sure they're on the same page. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and Iglesias will be running. In the air to right. Dyson is there, and Brents gets the job done. The Angels get 1, and it's 2-1 to the bottom of the 6th.
Welcome to the Royals, Michael A. Taylor. You're a solid addition. This last at bat right here, check him out. Hustling, running down the line, able to beat it out. You want a steal in base? You got that nice and clean. Why did he get there? So he can get into scoring position and score on this 110-foot sac fly from Cam Gallagher. Look at the instincts there. How about that? You got to be really fast to score on a little sac fly right out of the infield like that. Tremendous job. He has done nothing but great things for the Royals so far early this season.
Brad Keller gives up 1 run in 5 2/3 innings. Jake Brent's got the last out of the top of the 6th, and now the Royals will be facing Chris Rodriguez in a Chevy call to the bullpen. Griffin Canning went 5 and gave up 2 runs, 6 hits.
Yep, nice job. But you know what, though? Let's see if the Royals can get some insurance runs, and we know how important those are. This young man right here, Chris Rodriguez, he got a pretty good fastball. I mean, I'll say it's upper 90s when he's working it right. He's got a wipeout slider, though. Look at that. Very, very smooth delivery. I mean, he got an excellent slider.
Michael has 2 singles today. That's well hit to right. The wind will push it, but not quite enough. Walsh is there. So 1 away in our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Jenna Gray from Kansas City. If the Royals hit a home run out of the park in this inning, Jenna wins $700. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Jenna wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. You can become a Sonic Slam contestant today through the Royals Ballpark app. Hunter Dozier with 1 out. Hunter got his first hit in the 2nd inning, first hit of the season on a single to center, and then he lined to right in the 4th. Chop to third and a big hop for Rojas and a perfect throw to Pujols, and there are 2 away.
Sure.
Royals offer flexible season ticket plans for this season. More details at royals.com/season tickets or email seasontickets@royals.com. Beautiful day here, a little bit crisp. Nice spring afternoon. I'll tell you, the Royals are in another battle here with the Angels in the rubber game of the match. And the fans that are here are enjoying it. This kid, another find that hasn't pitched above A ball, this kid Chris Rodriguez. Just 22, live arm. Heavy, hard sinker, you know, just a really great stuff he's got. There's that wipeout slider. I mean, you know, when you throw upper 90s and you have a slider that falls off the table like that, you're good.
There's Josh Staumont, who is back from the injured list. No balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, Rodriguez is an interesting story. He was drafted by the Angels out of high school in 16. He missed all of 18 and pitched only 9 innings in 19 because of a stress fracture in his back, which required surgery. So he only had 77 innings of professional work before this year, and now he's in the big leagues and pitching well, and he gets the Royals 1-2-3 in the 6th. Doors at your Kansas City area Chevy dealer. And that wind has picked up. It's a pretty day with sunshine and blue sky, but the wind is blasting out of the north. So that's a wind with a knife in it. Josh Staumont ended up spending 1 day on the injured list. He was reinstated before the game today, and with 3 scoreless outings, he comes on in the 7th inning with the Royals leading by 1.
And what he brings with him is a plus fastball and a very plus overhand curve. Fastball's upper 90s, he'll reach triple digits and has really good command.
Staumont is back. Carlos Hernandez was optioned to the alternate site. Anthony Bemboom, John Jay, and David Fletcher will face Staumont. Bemboom is 1 for 2 with a single. He committed 2 errors in the Royals' bottom of the 1st inning, which eventually led to the Royals loading the bases, but Griffin Canning got out of that. Oh, 0-2. Bemboom was born in Minnesota and played his college ball at Creighton. That didn't take very long. 99 miles an hour, 1 away.
Yeah, Bemboom's going, wow. You know, I don't see that kind of action in the minors, that's for sure. Pitch by pitch will show you. First one, strike 1. Not a good
Choice to bunt. There's Uncle Charlie, and you got to go. Look at him, you know, drop and drive right over the top. Finishes his pitches well, and 2-pitch mix is all he needs.
John Jay with 1 out.
Second-year manager Mike Matheny still getting through his bullpen and managing situational opportunities for these bullpen arms. Hadn't really chosen a closer yet.
To left field, and Benintendi makes the play, and there are 2 down.
Come to the K this Friday for the first Buck Night of the season. You'll love it. Presented by Heinz and Price Chopper. $1 hot dogs every Friday home game. Get tickets now at Royals.com/tickets.
Blue Jays will be here beginning tomorrow night for 4 games. They are 5-6. And then after that, the Rays will be here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
2 good teams, I'll tell you. This whole homestand here, this first 10 gamer, not easy. And you know, if the Royals can just go 5-5, if they can just go 500 during this first homestand, it will probably, I think Matheny would tell you that they'll be okay with that.
little bit low. Bo Bichette hit a walk-off home run for the Blue Jays today to beat the Yankees, and we got to see his big league debut. Remember his dad Dante was here, the longtime big leaguer.
Yep, I remember.
Two and one. Merrifield makes the play, running onto the grass, and Staumont gets the Angels in order in the 7th. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium, and the Royals lead 2-1.
In 5 2/3. Jared Walsh doubled in the Angels run in the 6th. Salvador Perez has a home run, and Cam Gallagher making his first start as a sacrifice fly. And this is Chris Rodriguez's 2nd inning. He came on for Canning in the 6th and got the Royals in order. It was just an 8-pitch inning, so Joe Maddon runs him back out there, and that fastball with great movement. Man, late run is in for a strike to Nicky Lopez.
Yeah, he's gonna be tough now. You can just pick up the ball. You know, he has some deception in that delivery. He has a little, you know, he's kind of a little herky-jerky release point. Kind of reminds me of Kevin Appier, a former Royal. Just that, you know, before he delivers it, he's got a little. See how his arm goes
he'd reach
straight
down. Yeah,
you know, his arm.
Appier looked like he was trying to touch the back of the mound with the ball.
Yeah.
When he went into, or right before he would release it.
Yeah, that same kind of action.
That is going to be foul, and sounded like it was a broken bat. Chris Rodriguez doesn't have the grunt that Kevin Appier had.
That's right. One of a kind. See? Appier wore an Angel uniform. See that? See how he has that action where he comes down? Very animated. Watch that. I had to face him one time. I told the manager, don't ever let me face him. I don't ever want to face that guy again. Don't play me when he pitches.
Pujols will take it himself. Nicky Lopez was running hard and made it close. So 1 away, and here's Witt, who is 0 for 3. He could be 2 out of 3. He has 2 lineouts. You can score a free 2-liter of Pepsi products from Pepsi and Price Chopper when Witt gets 2 or more hits in a game. And you can learn more at mypricechopper.com/hits. Witt has 2 lineouts to the outfield. He lined to left in the 1st and lined to center in the 2nd. 97 is in for a strike. On a day like today, just kind of a quiet day, a lazy day, Kevin Appier was great entertainment with the crowd mic. You could hear all kinds of conversations going on out there at the mound.
Oh, for sure. And imagine if you could hear it up here, you know, 60 feet away. you're the hitter. He was just flat intimidating. And I never faced anybody like him before.
That is through the left side. And Witt is 1 for 4.
I don't think there's a pitcher alive that can get Witt out consistently. If you leave anything in the middle, he's going to barrel it.
Kevin Appier, by the way, was inducted into the Royals Hall of Fame in 2011. He won 115 games for the Royals in 13 years.
I believe he was on that 02 World Championship Angels team, if I'm not mistaken.
He's the Royals' all-time strikeout leader.
But you know, you would look at him and he'd be looking through his glove, but you could see spit and all kinds of
bodily fluids
coming out of his mouth and his nose. And I'm like, wait a minute, let me call time and gather myself. Try to calm this guy down a little bit. Heavy breathing.
Before he even threw the pitch, and then with the deception he had in his delivery, it was scary. And he was mid to upper 90s. At least it seemed like it.
Witt thought about it, but he'll hold. One and two. Monty, I don't know if we have enough time for you to share some of your favorite Kevin Appier stories.
Well, Ape was a different character, and he evolved a lot as a pitcher. I mean, here's a guy early in his career, he would not pitch to contact. He loved to miss bats, but I think he learned, as he matured a little bit, it's better off sometimes to get some early contact. But here's a guy who was just very, very different the way he went about his business. And I can talk a lot of hitters that hated to face Kevin Appier. He had a deception, plus he was like a raging bull on the mound.
And attendees down on strikes. It's easy to forget the end of his career, Monty, that he came back here again. He left and went to he was traded to the A's, if memory serves. He was with the Mets, he was with the Angels, and then he came back here in 03 and 04. And yeah, you're right, he was a different pitcher, but still effective. Yeah,
he learned how to be more efficient. He understood what his stuff was all about, but he had a slider that he could make do so many different things. It was like a bottom out slider, a lot like Greg Holland's slider. The slider that didn't really have that movement east to west, is really just kind of almost like the bottom would fall out of it. And it was a great slider, no doubt about it. Made him a lot of money and got him a lot of time to big leagues.
16 years.
Is he still living around here, Monty?
I believe he moved to Michigan.
Okay.
He married Lori from somewhere in, I think, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Okay. So he's probably still trying to dig himself out of the winter right now.
Yeah, you know what? He was a member of the Angels in 02. He won 14 games for them.
Salvi hits it hard again.
Come on, Witt.
That's his 8th hit of the series. Here comes Witt around third. Salvi's into second, and the Royals lead 3-1.
Salvador Perez, he's reaching lava hot status. Carrying the Royals, scoring Witt from first base on a screaming Mimi. That ball was screaming off the bat. What kind of solid contact on the young reliever we talked about, this kid Chris Rodriguez with a firm fastball. That's what happens when it gets hit. Split the gap, whips. Witt is on his horse. And scores some insurance.
Tony Watson comes on to pitch with Carlos Santana coming up. He's driven in 2 more today, and the Royals are back out to a 2-run lead. While we have a moment, we want to thank everybody for participating very generously last night in the Royals Charities broadcast auction. You helped raise over $115,000 to support many causes in the Kansas City area and beyond. This is the 20th anniversary year of Royals Charities, and Royals Charities has donated more than $18 million into the community. So thank you to everyone who participated last night. You continue to make a difference. Tony Watson, the former Cornhusker and one-time college teammate of Alex Gordon, comes on to pitch to Carlos Santana with Salvi at second base and 2 down.
35-year-old left-hander. Low to mid-90s fastball. He sinks it. Slider. Good changeup.
Just inside. Carlos is 0 for 1. So he's still just 5 for 34, but he has 2 more walks and 1 away from 1,000 in his career. Hit well to left field. There's base hit number 6, and it's a 2-run home run. So they specifically, when I say they, the Angels, they wanted him batting right-handed.
Well, you want insurance runs? You got it instantly. Side armor from the left side lets him see the ball greatly. And man, you could tell on contact how loud that was. Pass out the earplugs. That ball was mashed.
And into the wind. That wind is strong now from left to right.
Oh man, Royals can breathe here. Next few innings here. It's the first time the Royals have scored 5 since game 2 versus the Rangers. Way to go. Those instant runs are beautiful.
One and one on Dyson. This is his first at bat. Took over for Soler in right in the top half of this inning.
Good thing he stayed in the game. Early in the game, he got hit by a line drive off of Michael A. Taylor's bat. Hit him right in the calf squarely.
Going to be a tough play for Iglesias. And it gets by Pujols. Dyson has an infield hit. That's his first hit of the year.
Yeah, nice job. He aimed it just right. Put it in the hole there. Iglesias circled around it all he could, but you know, he couldn't get it. Even if Albert is able to dig it out, hard to get this speedster. Still running well.
Taylor has 2 hits today and a run scored. You were going over his swing, and we've been going on and on about that since spring training. A guy who had been really piling up the strikeouts his last couple of years with the Nationals has really made a nice adjustment so far this year. And it's interesting talking about his adjustments this year. The truth is that this all started 2 years ago when Michael spent more time in the minor leagues than he did in the big leagues, and at Double-A, trying to put his swing back together. And that's easier to do in the minor leagues because you can be a little bit more selfish in those games. The Nationals were a contending team in 19 and ended up winning the World Series, but he got a chance to go back down to the minor leagues after about 5 years in the big leagues and really work on his swing, and then deal with the humility of eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches again and taking the long bus rides after enjoying the big league life. But if you think he's been making the adjustments this year, actually this is about 2+ seasons in the making.
Well, it's worked because I rarely see him off balance on a swing and miss. That's when you can tell if a guy's fundamentals are really good, right? And he is just spot on. He takes great balance. Go, go, go. That's what you do when you go on the left-hander's first movement. The minute that left-hander even thinks about lifting his foot up, you just take off and go. And if he throws over, just keep going. And Dyson's learned that. He's a veteran. Heck.
Because that first baseman, he's got to make a perfect throw to second to get him. And Albert didn't even throw it. Excellent heads-up job there. And of course, Rusty Kuntz, I'm sure, the first base coach for the Royals, helped him with that.
Now he takes off for third, and Taylor is down on strikes. The Royals get 3. Salvador Perez drives in another run, and Carlos Santana drives in 2 from the right side with his second home run of the year.
Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery getting ready for Boulevard Royals Live. How would you describe this one?
Well, we saw some small ball early, some long ball late. We've seen great starting pitching. If this bullpen holds up, probably talking about our best win of the year so far.
Very nice. You had a million nicknames. You got a couple favorites for Kevin Appier?
Either Bulldozer Barber or Rickoven. That's how he signed his baseball.
Rickoven, Robert Kevin Appier, guys. Rickoven.
We have to look that autograph up online.
Yeah.
Stamont stays on for the 8th. You got the Angels in order in the 7th. And it'll be Ohtani, Trout, Walsh if anybody gets on Pujols. Ohtani has struck out twice and walked today. Both of those strikeouts came against Brad Keller, who gave up 1 run in 5 2/3. Benintendi comes up in left, and Ohtani is hitless today after going 6 for 10 in the first 2 games.
Fans, would you like a free Royals tote bag? Then join us at the K this Saturday. Visit Royals.com/tickets to get your tickets now.
Reusable. You could take that to the grocery store.
Outstanding. I mean, if it's free, it's for me.
Here's Mike Trout with 1 out. 97 in for a strike. Trout hit a 2-run home run at the end of game 1. And then last night he was 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. Today he's 1 for 3. He singled and scored the Angels run in the 6th. Coming home on a Jared Walsh double. That's down into the left field corner, and the Royals will take that here rather than earlier in the game, now that it's 5-1 in the 8th.
Trout came up with the bases loaded back in the 3rd.
Yeah, actually, we'll take that. Now, that's a breaking ball. Wasn't exactly a hanger, but we've talked over and over in this series what a great low ball hitter he is. And there it is. It's down in his wheelhouse, and he rakes that with no problem. And takes off out of the box like he's going for 3. Always hustles. He checks the ball back to the pitcher, which rarely happens. He's going 100% down the line. Great example to his teammates. That's how you play the game of baseball.
Back with a strike to Jared Walsh, who drove in Trout with a double in the 6th inning, and that made it a 2-1 game. The Royals just scored 3 in the bottom of the 7th. Out of play, 0-2. Keller gave up 1 run, 4 hits in 5 2/3. Jake Brentz finished off the Angels in the 6th. Stamon had a quick 7th. And he's 0-2 with Jared Walsh with a runner at second base and 1 out in the 8th. Line foul off the facing of the upper deck.
You know, foul balls going in the stands here at the K. Typically, our fans, they're good fielding fans. But this year, I've seen more drops, and I think it's because they missed a whole year. Just like a player, you miss a year, your timing's off. So I'm going to cut them some slack this year.
The defensive run saved has taken a bit of a hit in the first couple of weeks, but there's time.
Right.
Foul back just below HUD. That was karma playing out right there. You're hammering on the fans.
There it
was.
was.
And the next pitch, Walsh whistles one right underneath our booth.
I was ready. My money's on the ball. Ball's going to win most of the time. But at least the beautiful net from foul pole to foul pole is protecting our fans from line drives in the stands.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That hurt all the way up here in the booth. 96. And it looked like in the ribs.
Ball bounced right back to the pitcher. Ooh, not good.
Short ends.
Walsh doing a nice job wearing that. Didn't rub it. Took his base.
So 2 on for Pujols. He was hit by a pitch thrown by Keller in the 6th inning that glanced off of his forearm. And this could very well be his last at bat at Kauffman Stadium. Shallow right. Dyson's coming up and he slides and it's in and out of his glove, and there's a chance for an out at second base. How about that heads up play?
Dyson making a nice appearance out there in right field as a defensive replacement for Soler. Man, and I didn't think anybody had a chance to get this. Pujols is going to get himself a knock. He does. Great job, but a way to be heads up and turn and fire.
That's perfect. Walsh wasn't sure what he was going to do. You know, he's going to be in trouble no matter what, but Dyson quick to his feet. That's a heck of a recovery on a play like that. Nice going, picking up Stamon.
So it keeps the tying run on deck. First and third with 2 down. And low to Iglesias. So that is 9-6 on a force out.
See it often. But I tell you what, I love Dyson scrambling to his feet quickly, looking for that out, thinking fast and moving fast. He gets up and just kind of, nonchalance. Hey, there's no outs there. And it was a good effort. But man, he was on it.
And now a fly ball to center field. Taylor fights the sun, and he's got it. So Dyson's heads up play in right means it's a scoreless 8th inning for the Angels. Jays are here for 4. It'll be Jacob Junis, who was outstanding in Cleveland in a spot start, so he earns another one. The Blue Jays haven't announced their starting pitcher for tomorrow yet. Then the Royals will see 3 lefties after that. Steven Matz, Robbie Ray, and Hyun Jin Ryu. So that's Thursday night, Friday night, and then Saturday and Sunday afternoons. Ben Rowan was called up before the game on Monday night and pitched a scoreless 9th inning, and that was his first big league appearance since 2016.
Wow. What a battle. 6'4", big guy, sinker, slider, sidewinder.
Deep short, Iglesias couldn't get anything on the throw. And Hunter Dozier has his first 2 hits of the season today.
Boy, a lot of good things have happened today. Number one, obviously, was Brad Keller getting to be stellar again and working through 6 innings. And I tell you, the other was Hunter Dozier, for sure, making a couple nice plays on defense and then getting him 2 hits. That's going to be a world of difference for him and make a difference in confidence for him. They need him in the worst way to get going.
Cam Gallagher has driven in a run today. And you really have to wait on this guy. The pitch was 79 miles an hour. That's out number 1.
Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch by pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaders, and more from your Royals and the rest of the league. You'll enjoy the app.
One out to Nicky Lopez. Royals had a 2-0 lead until the Angels scored in the 6th. But the big inning today was the Royals' 3-run 7th. Back to the mound, and a wild throw ends up in center field.
Now this could just be an isolated incident, Hud, but it is very common for a guy who's got a funky pitching motion to have trouble throwing to the bases.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now he tried to raise his arm angle here. You see that? That's over the top for him, and no wonder he doesn't throw over the top.
Normally. Well, I mean, he spends his whole life throwing sidearm, and then all of a sudden, what looks like, a conventional throw to second base is actually unconventional for him. And that's the Angels' 3rd error. So 1st and 3rd and 1 out instead of an inning-ending double play, and then Witt is going to shoot it to right field. Walsh makes the catch. The throw comes in late. Dozier scores, and the Royals lead 6-1 in the 8th inning.
Just like that, Angels could have gotten out of the inning with a well-turned double play, but they didn't. They gapped, and the Royals took advantage of it once again. Yeah, I mean, he is from down under. That ball's pretty straight. It's in the middle. Witt not wasting any time. Royals looking good in this series. Now, game one, it was a little sloppy. You know, we kind of gave them a few runs in game one, but man, they really settled down.
Joe Maddon's going to get his closer some work in a 6-1 game in the 8 for 4, the Rays for 3, and then a long homestand turns into a long road trip. Tomorrow is Jackie Robinson Day. Friday is the first Buck night at Kauffman Stadium. Raisel Iglesias, the former Reds closer, came over in a trade during the offseason, and Joe Maddon just wants to get him some work before the Angels move on. So he comes on with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th. The Royals have added a run, and Andrew Benintendi has a 2-hit game. He has his first extra base hit. He has a stolen base, and he's batting with Nicky Lopez at first base and 2 down. No balls, 2 strikes.
Iglesias, 31 years young, has a nice fastball, low to mid-90s for sure, but his best pitch is his slider. First one he threw Benintendi, and he has a swing and miss changeup. Good secondary pitches.
Still 0-2. Last year the Angels had the same record that the Royals did, and they had a good year offensively, but they had all kinds of pitching problems. And we told you in the first game of the series that the Angels last year in the abbreviated season had more blown saves than converted saves. So they went out and got Iglesias to become their closer. Angels are 3 out of 4 so far. Save opportunities so far this year, and that pops out of Ben Boom's glove. Two and 2. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mike Matheny just got 2 innings out of Josh Staumont, and he has Tyler Zuber on the left, Scott Barlow on the right, ready to go in the 9th inning. Zuber was just called up from the alternate site. Another foul ball. Benintendi has hit safely in 8 of the last 10 games. He has reached safely in 9 of 10 games. So as Hud pointed out before his 2 hits today, that the numbers don't knock your eyes out yet, but he's doing a little something every game. Not that.
And I have to walk that one off.
Yep. He's got the full support of the Royals dugout on the first base side. They're all keeping their eyes on him.
Sorry for the laughter. I'm not.
Well, that's what's happening in the dugout, though, right now. I mean, let's be honest.
Okay.
I mean, this is a man's game, and you've got guys that are caught in between feeling terrible and giggling at the same time.
Yep. Change up, make you do it, get you out front.
I don't know what else you say, but umpires are doing their best and opposing players are doing their best, but I think we all have to come up with something better than "Are you okay?"
Oh no, same swing.
The Royals add a run on Merrifield's sac fly, and it's 6-1 to the 9th. Without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery, director Steve Kurtenbach, producer Kevin Cedergren, associate producers Al Broughton Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, John Harvey, and here's Tyler Zuber making his season debut.
Yeah, nice to see him back.
And looking at those numbers from last year, there is one that stands out above the others, and it ties into him throwing strike one here to Jose Rojas. 22 innings, 20 walks.
Yeah, BBs, base on balls. He has a chance to be a high leverage back in the bullpen reliever for sure. Slider, fastballs mid-90s, and he's got a really good changeup.
So all those walks, but he only gave up 15 hits in 22 innings. That's a 197 opponent's batting average. Two balls, two strikes.
You know, he's effortless. You know, he doesn't have a lot of strain on his arm. He's got real nice delivery. Not the biggest guy, so you wonder where he gets that velocity, and it's his arm speed.
He was one of the most impressive pitchers in the Royals abbreviated camp before the quarantine in 2020. Earned him a spot on the Royals roster. That's hit well to the gap in right center field, and that'll go all the way to the wall. Dyson plays the ricochet, and Jose Rojas has a leadoff double. And that is his first hit.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he hadn't gotten a hit the whole series. We've seen him coming in playing for veteran and star player Anthony Rendon, and that's a short, compact swing. Knew a fastball was coming. And Tyler Zuber, your first big league hit, young man. Congratulations.
Ben Boom takes a strike, and it's especially notable for Rojas because he was born in Anaheim. He went to Anaheim High School. He grew up just 3 miles from the ballpark, and he was taken in the 36th round. 0-2.
And attended Vanguard University, and it's right there. It's just school close by.
Still 0-2 on Anthony Ben Boom. Creighton Blue Jay, and he had signed already before Nicky Lopez arrived.
Well, I bet Ben Boom has never hit a big league home run in that ballpark there that Creighton played in their home ballpark.
That's right.
Nicky Lopez has. How about that?
That was just the most bizarre set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nicky Lopez, last at bat as a Blue Jay at TD Ameritrade Ballpark in Omaha was a home run, and it was his only home run in the games that they played in that ballpark. That was his last at bat as a college player. His first at bat as a major leaguer when the Royals played that game a couple of years ago against the Tigers was a home run to the same spot. Back-to-back home runs in the same ballpark. One as a college player, the next one as a major league player.
Yeah, in a game that was played to represent the College World Series, right? Is that how that was a few years ago? So Major League Baseball said, all right, we're going to make a game there and play it, and the Tigers are going to be the team you play, and Nicky Lopez went deep. It's still the only home run he's ever hit. Baseball, man, it's hard to explain a lot of things that happen. That's weird, though.
Here's a good late breaking slider, and it's 0-2 on Jon Jay. One and two. This series did not get off to a good start at all for the Royals. Remember, the Angels just 2 nights ago won 10-3. The Royals made 3 errors, which led to 3 unearned runs. Another run scored on a wild pitch, fouled away by Jon Jay. It was a sloppy game, and without making excuses, that tends to happen. A long road trip, a team gets home, and sometimes they let down their guard, and they can be a bit flat in the first game after a trip, the first game of a long homestand. But the Royals bounced back last night and won a close one 3-2. It's been mostly close today. The Royals have pulled away in the later innings. Shallow left, Benintendi's there, and a chance for 2. No. Will the Royals take a look at it, and will we have 2 games end on review? 2 in a row.
Yeah, I think Rojas might have forgotten the outs, but let's see if Witt. Ooh, man, it's close. Just barely got back.
Royals got an excellent start from Danny Duffy last night. Danny gave up 1 run in 6 innings. The bullpen allowed 1. Today it was Brad Keller giving up 1 run in 5 2/3. And now Brents, Stamont, and Zuber. So far, none of the Royals relievers have allowed a run. Rojas is at second with 2 down for Fletcher. He's 1 for 4. Nice. 0-2.
He's got some really good pitches, does Zuber.
Sweeps are nice, long winning streaks are nice, but the most dependable way to have a winning season is to win series. The Royals had a lot of trouble in deciding games last year. They were just 1-5.
It's a little different vibe that this man right here, Mike Matheny, has instilled in his players. Confidence. He's like a father to them, and he really, really trusts them and believes in them. And they want to perform for him.
One and 2. And I think they have fed off of his emotion. We were talking about that earlier in the game today. I mean, Mike Matheny, I mean, he's into it just like the guys in the dugout on a big play or the last out of a win.
And you know, look at that block again, man. Gallagher having a nice day behind the plate, his first start of the season.
But you know, you mentioned it early in the game, talked about, you know, Matheny and how, you know, how stoic he was. And he wasn't, you know, he really couldn't celebrate a win. You know, he couldn't get a smile on his face when he was a manager in St. Louis. And
now he's embracing wins and realizing how important. I think that's from Dayton Moore too, talking to him about how hard it is to win a big league game. So kudos to him to enjoy each win.
Zuber is impressive. He strikes out 2 in his first game back. And the Royals come back in the series, and they take 2 out of 3. Carlos Santana helped the Royals tack on in the later innings. Salvador Perez went 8 for 12 in the series. Whit Merrifield drove in a run and scored a run. And the Royals take a series from the Angels for the first time in 4 years.
Well, I'll tell you what, the Royals have a different thing, a different heartbeat. It's a confident beat, and they can all contribute for a win. I mean, you know, whether they're fall behind or not, they're in every single game. Great to see Brad Keller get his feet under him and put together a nice win and pitch like he can. And also Hunter Dozier, man, good to see him get his first 2 hits of this season and make some good plays on defense. And wow, what a good way to go into the Toronto series. 4 games with the Blue Jays, they're good.
They've got as much good young talent as any team in the league.
That's right.
Dozier gets a hug from his manager, and so does Tyler Zuber. He has a clean slate. Hugs all around. And that's something Mike Matheny said in his press conference when he was announced as Royals manager, that he wanted to